Don't buy this course because it is shit. And the reason it's shit is because this bit here, right here, where it says Elementor. Unfortunately, although this YouTube channel started 4 years ago with Elementor tutorials, although my agency with all of my clients was completely devoted to using Elementor for those client sites, it's now a piece of shit which I really find frustrating to use. I only use it on client sites where they haven't paid for the update. In truth, just to get away from using it, there are some sites that I updated for clients for free, just so that I didn't have to use it anymore. Now that's quite strange, isn't it? Because, obviously, not that it's monetized or anything. I've never really pushed this channel much, but it's devoted to Elementor to some degree. 4 years ago, I was starting to upload Elementor tutorials, and they're still getting views now and still getting people asking for different bits of help. I had one today on my shape dividers video asking about whether it works with background images, and my first thought genuinely was the problem is that you're using Elementor. That's the problem. On Breakdance you can add 3 or 4 shape dividers and get a really unique shape from it, or add your own mask even. Whereas Elementor, yes, it will work with images, but it's very limited and it's shit. So that's the honest question, the answer. The follow-up to that answer is don't use Elementor if you're on a learning curve. Use one of the latest tools that is actually industry leading at the moment. And there's something that I've learned really. Although I was devoted to Elementor before because it was serving my needs, to be honest, I have some really strong feelings about them as a company. They started to jump more into hosting and trying to be the all-in-one solution, kind of like a Wix on WordPress. Got into email and image optimization, and really took their eye off the ball in terms of being the best page builder out there. And they are now what Divi was when they came out. They are now to Breakdance what Divi was when they came out. And I don't think there's any coming back from it. I think they've tried. They've nicked a few things from Breakdance in terms of like the interface, but they just do it badly. And I must be honest about my feelings. I'm actually irritated at them because I think they got greedy, and I think that there was quite an unfulfilled promise, to be honest. Now, whether that happens with Breakdance or not, I don't know because I can't see into the future. But in 2 or 3 years, Breakdance might have a bit of a fall down, and they might try and be a bit too much, and they might take their eye off the ball. But currently, they are the cutting edge tool that makes me excited to start building a web page. And that's something to take note of. And that's also something to present to clients, by the way. I've realized all eggs in one basket with a preferred tool is something that you have to be wary of, but it is likely to be how you're going to run your business because you need that familiarity with the tool in order to scope up projects intuitively and know what you're capable of in terms of offering to a client. And so becoming really familiar with one tool and specializing in it, that does make sense. And that's where I am now with Breakdance. However, I would now have caution about how I present that to a client. So where with Elementor I was saying, oh, you built your site with Divi or Unicorn or something like that, we need to update your website to an up-to-date page builder, something cutting edge. We're going to future-proof your site. Now that's the one thing that I really regret saying to a lot of clients for 2 reasons. One of them is that you don't ever future-proof a site. It should be reworked every 2 to 3 years for sure. That's just in content, branding, sprucing it up, refreshing it without upsetting the SEO, obviously. But certainly in terms of what it's made with, you have to acknowledge that plugins, they sometimes end up being abandoned. They just don't get updated anymore. They're not keeping up with industry trends. And so that has to be acknowledged about the actual website builder. It's a plugin, and we do not know what those devs are going to do. And so I've really learned that's what I would communicate to my clients. You should rework it in 2 to 3 years anyway for branding, give it a freshen up. Just be aware that in 2 to 3 years, it might need a new page builder, and we might have to just take all of that content into a new format, and redo the site just to keep it up to speed, performing well, all of the other stuff. So that's something I've really quite learned. Today I was working on an Elementor site for an old client that hasn't paid for it to be redone, and I just found myself really frustrated, really irritated at actual Elementor, just for how clunky the interface was when it finally bloody loaded. I used to joke to clients on tutorials that start up the interface, go and get the kettle on, and you'll get back by the time it's loaded. That's if it's loaded. And Elementor still hasn't fixed that. They've just gone off onto all of these other little things that might bring them a buck. And I'm not really impressed with that. So anyway, I've lost myself now. Gone off on a tangent. Elementor is completely off scene now. It is again, it's in the Divi camp as far as I'm concerned. And if you are looking to learn web design, do not buy this course. I can't with a conscience keep it paid, and I can't make it free because it's over 2 hours. So I'm going to have to ditch that and just throw it away. I'm going to have to take it off sale because nobody on the learning curve should be using Elementor. Use an up-to-date tool. You'll learn a lot more useful things. And then just be ready to pivot into something else. Now, the first half of this course is made up of lots of great web design general stuff, but I'm just going to have to put that into another course somehow, or into lots of other little different courses. And that's something I've learned as well. Don't tie all of this stuff in together. So anyway, now if you are interested in learning web design, I would obviously say don't do that with my Udemy Elementor course. Instead, learn something that's cutting edge, such as Breakdance. Now, I am currently editing my first build a website with Breakdance course. You can get it for half price if you sign up to the mailing list. And when I finish getting on with the editing, it's so boring listening to myself. I don't know how you guys do it. But when I finish editing it and I launch it, you will get it for half price. And it's not going to be on Udemy, by the way. I'm done with Udemy as well. All of those people saying, oh, launch a course on Udemy, it brings you in so many, they take so much. It's always on sale. You get pennies for it. That's the actual truth. So if you fancy learning web design with Breakdance, I will teach you. Again, go to the description and get that half price link. Just join up with the mailing list for that. As for this channel, it is Elementor based. So everyone who's subbed to it is probably looking for an Elementor tutorial, which doesn't exist anymore. So if that's what you're looking for, feel free to unsubscribe. This is going to become more of a generalized channel on web design and business. And if that's useful to people, then that's great. I would love to have some video ideas. But yeah, I've learned a lot running a web agency for a marketing company, but then also my own agency approach has taught me a lot in this last couple of years. And I would certainly like to put that into some more useful tutorials. We will look at ClickUp, WordPress, different tools that you can use for building websites and handling clients and proposals and all of that sort of stuff. So there's something I've learned. Don't make an Elementor channel. On that though, I am going to make another channel dedicated just to Breakdance tutorials, and just keep that nice and separate. So if that's of interest to you, then check out the description link as well. I could do with my first subscriber. So anyway, just thought I'd touch base with everyone and bitch about Elementor for a bit, because quite honestly, pissed me off today.